In this video, we're going to talk about two grid properties which are very useful when building applications for smart devices: pull to refresh and inverse loading. Let's look at this feature, which is already a design pattern in most mobile applications and that every user is familiar with. It's the pull to refresh property. The pull to refresh pattern allows the user, by means of a drag down or swipe down gesture on a list, to reload the contents of the list, obtaining updated information. When the user runs the action, the screen will show a small animated circle which, by default, represents the process of refreshing the data. In GeneXus, this is achieved with the grid property pull to refresh. When enabled, the default behavior will be to ask the server if there is new information to return, in which case the input grid will be refreshed, and only this grid, not the entire panel. This is only applicable when the grid has a base table. But what happens when the grid doesn't have a base table? When there is no base table, for example because the grid is based on an SDT, we can use the pull release event. This event is triggered when the end user releases the screen after making the swipe down gesture on the grid. Then, in this event, we could call a program as we see on screen, a data provider like for example dp-get-speakers. A data provider that runs on the server and returns the updated results in an SDT. Another widely used UI design pattern is inverse loading. It's frequently used, for example, in chat applications. In these applications, the last messages usually appear at the bottom of the screen, and the screen is filled from bottom to top. To achieve this effect in the application, we should use the grid level property called inverse loading. One thing to keep in mind is that we will need to sort the information. In the example, we use an attribute chat message timestamp to store the date and time of the record. This way, the newest records will be displayed at the bottom of the grid. In the next video, we'll continue studying the control all sections content of the detail when we use work with for smart devices.